to social media management. So when I come and I'm working for company ABC, I don't know what the company is about, but if it's about freelancing and you're trying to gain the skills and the fundamental learnings of social media, then most definitely I'd love to.
You'd actually do that?
Yeah, I have never done it though. I've never done it.
You should actually try that, because it's like an amazing thing. Like, most people nowadays don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
People prefer to just go get someone who knows how to do something so well. And
exactly.
We teach them.
Exactly.
And if you had like a curriculum, what would you start with? Especially if you're teaching people how to become social media managers.
Fundamentals of storytelling.
Fundamentals of storytelling?
Yes.
Why?
Because the minute you understand that it's about how you tell your story, it's about the how and not the what, you're good. You're good to go.
So ideally start with the fundamentals.
The fundamentals of storytelling. As a social media manager, you are a storyteller. You're telling a story. And that's why you'd see platforms like TikTok have taken off, because they allow individuals to portray character. It's not a bot. It doesn't feel like it's a bot, or it doesn't feel like it's something that is fixed, or, it creates an emotion. It triggers an emotion. And if you're able to do that, it takes you to a whole different level as a social media manager. You're competing on a different scale.
You're competing on a different scale when you understand storytelling. You're connecting with people.
So that is definitely, I know it's not, usually people would say how to, the platforms you need to use, or how to gain followers, or how to increase engagement. But the conversation is bigger than that, especially now that consumers and audiences have become quite individualized, where people are more aware of what they want to consume. You don't have the option or luxury to have your content just exist. It needs to exist and make sense. It needs to have a value attached to it. And that's why you'd see, I'll give an example of influencers. I have seen different trade cards, and I can tell you, as I sit here, I have managed quite big clients, and the likes of Jameson, Bifita, I worked with Kappa, I worked with ALX, and I can tell you that you see niche influencers where people tend to look at them as having less followers. I used to pay them way more. I was telling someone, I had an influencer, I was paying 250k a month, and they had like 57, 56k views. I had another influencer, 1 million followers, and I was paying them 75,000.
What do you mean you're paying them 75,000?
Well, on behalf of the client, of course. But it's not about the views, or it's not about the numbers anymore. The numbers do help. Don't get me wrong. There are those who want the numbers, but that's a different objective. But it's about the engagement. And we've realized that niche influencers, such as yourself, have more conversion, and there's more results with them. And they've also realized the same. So they charge more. Because look at it like this. If I am a hair influencer, and I only do hair, I have specialized in hair, and we have a lifestyle influencer who, yes, talks about their hair and their hair journey occasionally. When I have a campaign, I will use both of them, right? Because one has a bigger reach, but one has higher credibility. But I am willing to pay more on the one with less followers, because I know as much as you have 1,000 followers, I am guaranteed 10 or 100 sales.
You're guaranteed 10 or 100 sales from these niche influencers?
Yes. It's been proven for so many years. And that's why even when you ask agencies, a lot of people work with niche influencers. If the campaign is about reach, then you work with of course, broadcast influencers, bigger influencers, mega influencers, depending on the whatever outcome or objective of the campaign is. But when it comes to something long term, when it comes to market penetration, when it comes to building your credibility, I would highly recommend focusing more on a larger pool of niche influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
As compared to
They're easier to work. They have better work ethic, you know. They are truthful to who they are, right? You're not going to sell a product simply because you're selling a product. Your brand and your reputation is quite important to you. And others, it's about the numbers. So me, as long as I have numbers, let's do it. But for you, you need to be able to legit niche influencers. They turn down brands because they're not aligned with their brand. Yes.
But there are these guys who take any brand that comes their way.
Those ones.
Okay. Social media management itself as a skill, because mostly you talk about skills. Is it like a viable skill for someone to learn?
Yes, it very much is. It very much is. It requires three things. One, you need to be able to read, because the market and consumers are evolving every single day. That means you don't need to necessarily be 2 steps ahead, but you need to be 1 step behind or at par with them in order to not dilute in the industry. You need to be able to know what's happening, what's changing, what's trending. So you need to be able to, 1, love your books. You need to be able to love your research. 2, you need to be able to know how to be good at people. You don't necessarily have to be good with people. You need to be good at people, right? In case because everyone wants the good side of social media where you're going viral, you're building your following, your engagement is off the roof. What if your page is getting cancelled? What if you are trending on KOT? What do you do? You know, you need to be able to know how to handle crisis management. So for viability of social media, it's very much there. You just need to be able to, 1, allow yourself to take time and put yourself out there. Have the conversation. I always tell someone, if you know, everyone knows at least 1 business owner.
Sure.
Everyone, at least, even if it's someone who is trying to figure out business, I tend to categorize them as a business owner. Ask them to manage their page. You don't need to be paid. You're acquiring experience, right? And this experience goes a long way, because at least this person will give you the flexibility of being independent to run the show. And as you grow, you realize, oh wait, hashtags are no longer working.
Yeah, sure. Why do people think that hashtags work?
Well,
do they work really?
When it started, it used to, because when platforms like Instagram started, they used hashtags as an AI tool in order to be able to understand the kind of content you're creating, to be able to push it to the right audience. So before, the kind of tools that they had, like the kind of tools Meta had, was not able to read your content organically. Like right now, they have advanced so much that I can look at the caption in your copy or the images in your post and know this is this type of content. This is a hair video. This is, this is a car video. And now I'll push it to that particular audience. But back in the day, they were not able to. So people would use hashtags in order to be able to have the algorithm understand the kind of content it is, right? So if you wrote hashtag Tembea Kenya, they'll understand this is a travel video. But right now, hashtag Tembea Kenya has millions of videos. So
Do you think, me used to think probably, if I create content and use these hashtags, I'm going to get views?
No.
And nowadays it's about your content.
And that's why you're told the AI reads your caption, right? The AI reads your copy in your video. The AI understands your video. So that's why your video will be pushed to the particular audience without necessarily having hashtags. And if you want to put it to the test, try both. Having a video without hashtags, having a video with hashtags. If your video was to be pushed by the algorithm, it's because the algorithm has understood it, has targeted it well, and now it's reaching the correct audience. It's not because of hashtags per se. Now, do they still somewhat help? Yes, but it's saturated, right? Because before, hashtags are not that many, like I explained. It wasn't that many. But AI has evolved that the platforms don't need hashtags anymore to understand your audience. Yes. Yeah. So I still see it. People are like, use hashtags. And I'm like, oh.
I've been having this. Are you on Facebook, by the way?
Yes.
Are you a millennial?
A Gen Z.
You're a Gen Z?
I'm a Gen Z.
How old?
I'm 26.
26. Sijakuacha sana. What's your experience with Facebook? Because most guys don't like Facebook.
I also don't like Facebook. I think it's an old platform. But you would be surprised that it's still the biggest platform in Kenya.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So
your boss is looking for you.
Yeah, my boss is looking for me.
But it's an amazing conversation, okay?
Yeah.
I think we can continue it again.
Yes, we have to pick it up.
Yes.
It was a privilege to have this. It was so random, by the way.
Good.
But I think it's a conversation that needs to be had more, especially on social media and influencing. So whenever you want to have the conversation, I'm always game.
Perfect.
I'm always ready to teach and learn.